Page 102, Laura. 4/4 time. Supposedly it's in the key of C major, but it's got a lot of dissonance in it. It's hard to tell. There's no sharps or flats in the key signature. Let's take a look at this piece. Right hand first, at the beginning. Simple enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, tie. It's tied over. 1, 2, got A sharps. F sharp G. Not weird? Second line, fifth finger, you have a rest there, you can move down one. Same thing, G sharps. Now it's an F natural. Third line, E flat. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now in the second measure, the third line down there, that E flat applies for the measure. So that E, eighth note E, that's an E flat also. And in the last measure, the third line, look out on this fingering. You're going to lift up for the phrase, and then 2, 1. Can you connect those? Got a lot of accidentals here. And for the last line, third measure, if you want, you can do that 2-5. In fact, I recommend 2-5. Because in the next measure, you got to play an F natural. The D is tied. You're not going to play it again. Hold it down. So the F, you play it, and then lift up while you hold the F down and play the other notes. Isn't that weird? So the last two measures of the 102 is this way. Hold it down and then here. So you can it's the end of a phrase, so you can use fifth finger on both. And then go on. 2 at the top of page 103. 2-5 here, 2-5, and then 5. We just changed hand positions, and then it's like it was on page 102. On page 103, second line, last two measures, you're here. The G is tied, so you're going to hold it down for 8 counts. But the E changes to a D, so while you hold the G down, you're going to play the D. And then for the third line, you have a quarter rest, so it's 1, 2, 3. Second measure, watch the fingering. It's a 2, and then a 1. A flat. B natural. Third measure. Again, we got two voices going. You see the stems up and down there? So the top voice is here. And the bottom voice in the upper is here. It's like two people singing a duet, and one person is singing these notes and the other person is singing these notes. So be careful, make sure you're holding them all down the right length. So it's the last two measures of the third line is here. And then you lift up. It's a B, E flat there in the last line. And then a B flat, you can use 2 again if you want. And then hold the E flat down, it's tied over, and it doesn't turn to an E natural because you crossed a bar line. If it's a tied note, you hang on to the accidental. It stays for that one note. So in the second measure, hold the E flat down and play the A. Now hold the A down as you play the 8th notes. And then you can go on. And at the end it's a rolled chord. The wavy line, you arpeggiate it, you play them quickly, and I'll play the bottom note on the beat. But another way of doing it is to treat all 4 of these notes as one chord, and you do them all together. And that's how I would actually recommend you do it. Play the C in the left hand on the beat, and then roll all 4 notes, like so. I'll come back to that in a little bit. Now for the left hand is supporting this, so the left hand has to be really soft because all the good stuff's in the right hand. So we're just at the beginning, 1, 2, 3, and that chord, just spell out the chord on these. It's an F sharp, C, E flat. If you don't want to do the thumb, then you have to do a 5-3-2. That's the chord. And then the next measure, it's B-D, etc. And then second line, B flat, and then an E, second measure, second line, E, B flat, D flat. Or this if you don't want to do that. And that's wonderful. And the next measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then go here. Now if it'll help you out fingering wise, the last note in the second line there, that F, you can prepare for the next notes coming because you want 1 and 2 on the FA or 2 and 3. It's up to you. So if you want, play that last note in the second line, third finger, that works. And then you can do a 2-3 if you want. And then I do a 4-1 in the third measure. You can do a 4-2 if you want. It's just you had 2 on here, and I go here. And then you're in position. Well, watch the fingering in the third line last measure. 3, 2. They're saying 3, 2, 1, 3. Ugh. You could do a 2, 1, cross over and get a 2, and then a 3. You don't have to put the thumb on the black key that way. Last line, they saying 2-1, 3-1 works fine if that's if depending on how you fingered the measure before, you may need to finger it 3-1. And then a 4-1, and then a 4-1 again. And I put a 2 on that B in the third measure here because it's more comfortable than a 3. And fourth finger on the G sharp. And going on to page 103, this is the same as the 102. You can figure it the same. The third line down. Here, 5-3, and then it's an A flat, B natural. 3-2, and then going on, and going on, and then a rest, and then at the bottom. Again, we're rotating here. And then the last two measures, go ahead and finger the first quarter note with a 5 finger. 2, that works fine for that one, and that's left hand. So you're working out the hands one at a time, get the fingering worked out the way you want it, and then try putting the hands together and see how that works. It's a whole new adventure. So at the beginning it's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3, 4. See in the first line, last measure, that D in the left hand is by itself. The right hand has a rest, so lift up on that. And then go on. And make sure you're holding these notes down the full length, because it's like at the first measure at the top or the first measure of the second line. Let's go to the first measure, second line. In the rhythm, the hands are this. So hold it down, and the D in the right hand. Count all these things very carefully, and if you want to skip the rhythm for a bit, skip the rhythm for a bit. Just try and get the notes down in the hands at the right time and holding them down. So the third line is here. Let's go down to the third line on page 103. You're down here. So the last line on page 103, it's a little tricky. Look out. You're here. B flat. And then second measure. Hold these half notes down. See, that A, the half note A is tied to a quarter note A. You got to hold that down for 3 counts. So it's here. So here. So these 3 notes are together because the A's down. So starting again at the last line, it's here. For the rolled chord, rolled chords are interpreted differently at different times by different people. You can play it fast. You can slow it down a little bit. You can slow it down a lot. It's up to you. It depends on the mood of the piece and the situation. You know, how do you feel that should be played? So as you finish, there's no retardando on this. So the whole piece is slow. I wouldn't want to retardando too much anyway because it's too slow. So you work all these little intricacies out because you got a lot of syncopation and a lot of overlaps and a lot of ties and going on. Then let's add the dynamics to it once you got that part learned. And it starts out medium soft. That's the melody. That's the right hand. Everything else has to be really soft. So a little soft, sort of soft in the right hand. Figure out what that is. And then make everything else under it. And when you get these notes in the right hand where you have 2 notes, it's like the 3rd measure of the 2nd line, try and bring out the top note if you can. That's what we want to hear. And we're staying medium soft till we get down to the end of the 3rd line on page 102. Now you're crescendoing up to a medium loud. It's not much difference, just a little difference. So the last 2 measures of the 3rd line is here. Now, and then at the bottom, we're going to decrescendo back down to a medium soft. And it's the left hand that's going to help you do this. So try and make the left hand, you're already soft, just try and go down to a very soft. Like so. Sometimes you can listen to the other notes and how they die away, because they'll die away automatically. If you kind of follow that, that helps you get soft too. And then we're down to like we were at the beginning. Then in the 3rd line, you're going to crescendo up to a loud. This is like the climax of the piece. Not real loud, just loud. And you have to plan it out. Don't get loud too soon. So start the 3rd line medium soft. And now here you're kind of a medium loud by the 3rd measure. And then the 2 quarter notes at the end of the line, those are loud. Now you're loud. Stay loud, and then all of a sudden you're soft. It's like a jolt. It's like, what happened? So the first measure and a beat are loud, and then you're soft for the rest of it. So it's here. You shouldn't slow down. I did a little bit because that's how I felt it. But it's just all of a sudden you're here, and then all of a sudden, you're soft. And then soft at the end. That's the dynamics. So you work all out and try and get that all worked out where it's working for you. Now we're not going to swing the 8th notes in this piece. That's not what this is about. Even 8th notes, that's fine. Now we add the pedal. Oh, goody. So they've got a legato throughout, and for the most part I agree. You just play it the way it's written. So I'm going to push the notes down and then the pedal. And each time I change it, I'm going to change it right after I play the notes. So the pedal lags behind the keys. Now if we pedal it the way they're showing it, it's very smeary. If you're fine with that sound, go for it. I don't care for that sound, so I tend to pedal it a little more and I take out the smeariness. So at the beginning, the first measure is fine. second measure, I wouldn't pedal that. Then I can pedal the third measure, but I have to change the pedal at the half note. I don't want to catch this and this together. It's this and this. And then I don't pedal the last measure, the first line. And then the next line I pedal the measure. And I don't pedal the next measure, the second measure, second line. No. And then the last two measures are fine the way they're written. And the third line, I don't pedal until I play that half note in the right hand. So in the third line, I don't pedal the second measure. And then you can pedal the first two beats of the third measure. I don't pedal the next measure. Well, they don't pedal. Yeah, they do. So the third line, last measure, I don't pedal that. And then the last line, you can pedal that like it's shown. And the last measure of page 102, I don't pedal that. I want that clean. And then the top of page 103 is the same as page 102. Pedal the first measure. Don't pedal the second. You can pedal the third measure after you play the half there. And then don't pedal the last measure of the first line. Then the second line is the same or similar. Pedal the first measure. Don't pedal the second. And then you can pedal the last two measures, but change the pedal at the bar line. I think that's an error. I think they left out that little indication in the pedal mark that it should change at the bar line. Whether you're doing it the way I'm suggesting or not, it should still change at the bar line. And the last two measures of the second line on page 103. The third line, I don't pedal until I play that half note. I don't pedal the second measure. I don't pedal the last two beats here. And then I don't pedal the last two beats of the last measure, because those need to be by themselves. And then the last line, the first measure, pedal it the way it's shown. Second measure, don't pedal that. And then the last two measures, you can blur those. That's okay. We want that feeling. We want that going out. We want that foggy, misty thingy. And in fact, if you want that foggy, misty feeling throughout, then pedal it the way they're showing you, but I don't care for that. Different styles for different preferences for different people. They're all suggestions. You'll have to decide how you like it. Now, I'd like to play it with you slowly. It's a slow piece anyway. They say slowly with expression again. It's like, well, how do you think it should go? I like to play it slowly, because when I want to perform it, we just want to check the notes and the rhythms and all. And you can play it with me one hand at a time, probably be better, because it lets you focus more on what that hand is doing, because this is tricky. This is really tricky. You're almost getting to the level where you don't need a play with me. It's not going to help you that much, but I'm going to do it anyway. I've been doing it through the book. Why stop now, huh? I'll give us 4 counts, so let's try this together. The right hand here, the left hand's here, foot's on the pedal. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. 2, 4. Hold, 2, 3, rest. This is a tricky piece. I'm going to go ahead and sort of demo it for you to give you an idea what it might sound like. This is just my interpretation. You don't have to play it this way, but it'll give you an idea at the beginning.